Alright, go ahead.
Okay, last Nunchuck video review. In the very end, we worked on, one was a concept of standing in front of a mirror and doing your figure 8 wrist rolls and keeping your circles very flat. So we were trying to keep them very flat. What we're basically trying to do is imagine the audience is the mirror, and we want to see if we can just kind of straighten out all the planes. So if you have a mirror, definitely practice your figure 8 wrist rolls and see if you can keep it straight on with the mirror. Another thing that we did was while you're practicing your freestyle flow, see if you can choose a spot and continue to move along that direction while you're flowing. So for instance, even if I just take slow steps this direction, the point is that I keep moving with it. This is just to keep it interesting and dynamic, as well as if you're on a stage, you may have a lot of room that you have to cover in front of a stage for an audience. Sometimes you may want to cover the whole thing throughout your whole freestyle. So just kind of get used to taking these little steps. We worked on this little small cross step area. It just looks a little bit better as you're taking your steps with Nunchaku than if you just did this. You use the back of your foot, you cross a few, and step it that direction. Another thing that we worked on was this. Pass right here. Basically, it's an overhand grip to an overhand grip pass, and it stops right there. The way we worked on it was a bounce from the same side, same arm. So we bounce, and then we pass, and we bounce it to the other side. So that's how you can practice it. Bounce, catch, bounce. You don't have to catch it straight down below. It can just be the pass itself like this. You don't have to hold it, but you can. Just to get down to the rhythm here. And what we worked on was wrist roll, pass. Bounce, wrist roll, pass, bounce, wrist roll, pass, bounce, wrist roll, pass, bounce. Anytime we do the bounces, we can go into hyper style. So once we do the wrist roll, pass, this is a great transition into hyper style once we do that. We just did the table bounce, we can go into our table bounces, do the passes, etc., etc. We also worked on, what else did we work on? Oh, yeah. So we were doing the back and front horizontal wrist rolls like this. Basically, it's the same as the vertical wrist roll, except for we're going across the body this direction. And what we're saying is you can do a wrist roll this direction and then do it over, and you can do a horizontal figure 8 wrist roll. We also worked on a throw. And the throw comes from, if you're doing your redirect, for instance, and you hit it on the same side of your arm that's holding it, you're going to shift it forward. And I believe the way Anna does it is she keeps her hand underneath. I've always taught it with your hand over, but I realized that there's two different ways you can do it. But either way, as soon as you shift it over, you give it an upward lift. And catch.
Come over this way.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to bounce it off our arm. Right about when it's head level, we're going to give it an upward lift and we're going to let it go. Like that. Chain unwinder is the next one we worked on. We did work on quite a few. We're going to go counterclockwise. Our right hand's going to reach over. We're going to grab the chain right here. We're going to let ourselves grab the chain. The moment we grab the chain, we're going to keep our hands open and it's going to cross this direction. And then we're going to unwind it with a closed fist. So it'll look like this. Open, closed. Open, closed. You can get out of it by simply unwinding it and opening your hand. It'll throw it in the air. Throw, catch. Wind, throw, catch. You can also use two hands. So unwind, grab both hands like this. You can pull it out into a rip formation if you use two hands. As soon as you're going this direction, the moment the two chucks are about here, you can slide your hands out and you'll have an upwards front grip and a back grip combined. So here, two hands, slide it out. Then you can go into your rips. The last thing that I can remember that we worked on was leg bounces. We've done this before, which is kind of like a slow version of the snake style. This time, instead of letting it bounce here, we're going to let it bounce off of our inner thigh. It's going to look like this. It's going to coil down like a corkscrew. It's going to bounce right here. If you notice my right hand, it's turned inward. This is kind of pointing upwards. It's actually coming upwards at an angle, like that. Once it lands here, we're going to take our hand, which is pointing this direction, and we're going to shift it that way. We're going to yank our wrist over, and we're going to take our thigh and we're going to kind of kick it over with our leg too, so it'll look like this. Here, kick. So just practice this right now. It's going to go here. It's going to go here. Naturally, it's going to want to go this direction, so we can pop it all the way back up to our waist. So instead of now going here, we're going to add 2 more steps to it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I think that's about it. Is there anything else that you can think of, Adam?
Did you do the like underhanded cross and then we went into the thing? I think you did.
Yeah.
That thing.
Bounce.
That exactly.
Oh, you're right. Okay. We've been working this move here. Keep in mind, anytime, as long as you're using this move where you're bounce, catch, bounce, anytime you do that bounce, you can go into many combos. So, one of my favorite combos, the moment it bounces in your armpit, you're going to roll it down to that same leg and back up to your armpit. So, bounce, 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 catch, bounce, 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 catch, bounce, 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 catch. Just work this combo over and over again. Catch, bounce, bounce. Remember, you don't actually have to hold it there. You can just do this pass.
Cool.
Alright.
Is that it for today?
That should be it. I can't think of any others outside of that.